So, what is true leadership? I am SHONA Hill, and I'm going to give a different take on what leadership is. Well, not so different, but take you to a time where leadership was more divine in connotation. Using an example to demonstrate it. Today, what do we consider to be a leader? A politician, perhaps? I don't know, a boss? Or that's an interesting one. Is a boss a leader? I say not. They're more about control than leading and bringing other people in behind them to show them and teach them and take them forward in a way where all are equal. The leadership I am talking about is open to every single person. No one is denied this leadership that I am talking about. It contains 4 simple elements: peace, love, courage, and joy. And it is rising now within humanity. Being a leader, a true leader, is not about how many words you can speak. It is not about how many people you can control. It is about attraction, but it also has a silence, a beauty that is divine. So what is an example of what I mean? Well, we all know the story of Jesus, do we not? But that has been, in a way, tarnished through religious connotations, has had many such powerful leaders. And I'll talk on religion another time, possibly with another speaker. But today I'm just focusing on leadership. I am going to use an example of a Roman citizen called Perpetua. Now, she was just a normal, everyday person. She was a family woman. What made her stand out was the fact that she was a Christian. She was one of the early followers of Christianity, of Jesus, in other words. Take religion out, okay? That has to go from this conversation. Out. Okay. Now, what did Christianity really mean? What was the leadership that she possessed? It is shown in a defining moment. We all are souls having human experience, and she was one of the first to recognize this. And the 4 elements that I mentioned: peace, love, courage, and joy. Now, what Romans did to Christians, people who lived by these 4 elements, was they used to, in effect, murder them in the Colosseum in front of an audience for entertainment. And she was one of these people. What made her stand out was her courage and her silence. She was one of a group. And when the moment came when she was in the center of the Colosseum, Usually there was great cheering and, "Way, getting rid of these more Christians, blah, 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 hurrah," sort of thing. Very nice, aren't they? Aren't humans lovely? It is an example of kind of warfare, if you like, that is going on between good and evil, even today, within the human population. Now, what stands out about Perpetua is that when her moment came, well, the others too would not defy what they knew to be true. They showed fear. Now, it was not that she had not had fear. There are writings that she wrote in the prison where she feared for her son. Her husband had run off and abandoned them at the mere murmurings of her possibly being arrested. Her father had disowned her, as she wouldn't renounce, and she had to leave her child with her mother and brother, not knowing how they would treat him. So she had great fears going on around her while she was there. But in this moment, and this is what I mean by showing up in leadership. Showing up. This is what I'm about to tell you is what showing up is. Okay? In the moment of, she stood silent. She looked in the eyes of the gladiator who was going to kill her, and she took his sword and placed it on her sacred heart and looked him in the eye, said nothing, did nothing, just looked in his eyes. Now, gladiators were usually slaves, so generally had to do what they were ordered to do, or they would face a worse fate than what they were being asked to do at the time. So he knew he had to complete his task. But at the moment of, that sword was visibly shaking. There are writings talking about this moment. For in those eyes, he saw Source, Creator, the Formless One, Father, God. And he literally had fear of what he was doing. And she, who had the sword placed to her, had none. Now, normally when there was great cheering, there was complete silence at her death. And virtually all in the Colosseum in that moment converted to Christianity and converted others to Christianity based on what they had witnessed. Now, she was no big leader. She wasn't an empress or anything like that. She was just an everyday Roman citizen who had recognized her aspect of God, if you like, her truth. And in that moment of showing up in the face of death, she attracted more people than anybody could have who had spoken out. Probably speaking like I am right now. She gained more people in that moment of courage and showing up than I will attract through doing this video about her. Now that is sovereign leadership. That is true leadership. How many can look death in the face and show that level of courage that will attract that many followers. Now, the Colosseum holds thousands of people. I don't know the exact number, but it holds thousands of people. In that moment, she converted all of them to recognize the truth, the aspect of source that we all are. That is the power of true leadership, of finding your core aspect of self, your aspect of source. And actually, that story that I've told you about has even affected language. How many of you know of the word perpetual? Perpetually. I've even had said to me once, only once, but I've had said to me, "Shona, shut up. You're perpetually talking nonsense." Yeah, I am perpetual. But it was they that was talking nonsense. And this is what we mean by turning things on its head. You'll hear that said by many people in this world, because there are many that are beginning to show up in this way again, this true leadership again. To have the courage to speak about it. Silence is powerful in the face of adversity. When darkness is all around you, to have courage is the greatest power. And that is the truth of true leadership. Humanity has lost its way, just as it had in that time that we're talking about. We are going back to that level of turmoil. It may get worse yet. It will get worse yet. But in the face of that darkness, there are many leaders, true leaders. And even those that say those statements, like I said, are perpetually talking nonsense. They're still lovable people because they are also evolving. No one is more than anyone else. And what really brings me to wrath, okay, I do get angry. I am human as well. When people use divine terms to create pedestals, when they do not exist. I'm a master. I'm an ascended master. I'm a grandmaster. You're not a master. You're not a leader. I am. Look out for this. Spiritual ego, this ego, general ego of all kinds, is hugely destructive. And steals or attempts to steal the energy of the purest hearts. But the leaders of purest heart just show up and speak if they need to, and make it clear that no one is above anyone else. We are all leaders in our heart. And if you do not feel that you are yet, seek those who are. For there are many here to help you. There is light at the end of this dark space for humanity. Great light. And there is true leadership that will take you there. It's my joy to connect with you. And I will share much more with you as we go forward. Deep love to you all.